Alright guys, it is dyno day for our Hellcat Supercharged LS engine. In the last video that you saw this car, we had just got done installing our Jeep Trackhawk Hellcat style supercharger onto our Gen 4 LY6 rectangle port LS. And I gotta say a huge thanks once again to the guys over at Trinity Performance and Design. They are the ones that made this happen. They make a really nice kit to install Hellcat style superchargers on top of rectangle and cathedral port LS engines. They sort out all the issues such as the pulley spacing and make it very much a bolt-on kit. Now this engine has been around the block. We've run it naturally aspirated, we've run it twin turbo, and we've now run it supercharged. And we have the dyno results from all three of those combinations. So later on in the video, we're actually going to do a comparison of naturally aspirated versus twin turbo versus supercharged, and show you guys how the power curve changes and the overall horsepower result changes with those three combinations. With that, enough stalling, let's get on to the dyno. For the first test, we decided to run the exact same timing map that we were running in the car when it was twin turbo. The idea here was to try to make things as consistent as possible. So, let's see what it makes. Not bad for our first pull. From here we decided to gradually throw more and more timing at it and see where we hit diminishing returns. Man, I could listen to that all day. That thing sounds so good. We were definitely getting a little greedy with our ignition timing on the last couple of pulls. We really wanted to break that 700 wheel horsepower mark, but it just wasn't going to happen. For our final pull, I wanted to test out a theory. Actually, Jeremy Fermato was up our way and checked out this combo when we were in the middle of putting it together. And one thing that he commented on was our air intake was way too small. We have a 4-inch tube going to a 4-inch cone style air cleaner, and he said that we needed to go 5 inches plus because we're just giving up horsepower. For all of the pulls today, we've been running without that air intake, so for the last pull we decided to throw it back on and see how much horsepower we lost. Now before we get into the twin turbo versus supercharged versus naturally aspirated results, I wanted to briefly talk about what this engine is. This right here is a Gen 4 LY6. And if you guys aren't familiar with that combination, it is a 6-liter truck engine featuring a very robust iron block. It has a set of the Gen 4 style rods, of course, and a set of the rectangle port LS3 style cylinder heads. The pistons have a slight dish and the compression ratio comes in right around 10:1. So they are very highly sought after for a high horsepower stock bottom end turbocharged style build. For the camshaft, it has a sloppy stage 2 camshaft with a set of PAC 1218 springs, and that is about the extent of the mods that have been done to the engine. So now that you know more about the engine, let's get into the dyno results. So let's start off with naturally aspirated. When we ran this thing naturally aspirated, it was kind of a pig. It made 367 wheel horsepower, and it was only peaking around 6,000 to 6,100 RPM. This is pretty typical for those running the sloppy stage 2. They really come into their own when you start to add turbos, and they also like other forms of boost, as you saw earlier. So I want to do this comparison at a similar boost level. As you saw earlier, the Hellcat Supercharger made 699 wheel horsepower at 17.7 pounds of boost. To give you guys an overview of the setup that we had on the Fairmont when we were running this twin turbos, it had a set of Amazon 78-75 cast wheel twin turbos. It had a set of twin Honda style intercoolers in the front. Now in theory, a turbocharger should make more horsepower because it is harvesting the otherwise wasted heat energy from the exhaust and using a turbine to harvest that heat energy and drive a compressor. The supercharger, on the other hand, is always consuming horsepower from the engine, and it's all right off of the crankshaft. Obviously with a turbo, you're not going to have a perfect exchange of energy. You're still going to see a elevated back pressure in your exhaust, and when the piston is coming up on the exhaust stroke, it's still going to receive a little bit of parasitic losses from that back pressure. Also with a turbocharger, you're driving a centrifugal compressor versus a screw compressor on the supercharger that we're running today. A centrifugal compressor is known to be significantly more efficient at turning energy into compressed gases. You're definitely going to see more horsepower consumed by a screw style compressor. So enough jibber jabber, let's get into what the turbocharger made at 18 pounds of boost. On 18 pounds of boost, it made 773 wheel horsepower. So there you have it. The twin turbo setup made 74 more horsepower, but we're not quite done with the whole story. There were a few other inconsistencies with the car. One, the torque converter. The torque converter on the Camaro here is a little bit looser than the torque converter that we were running on the Fairmont. So that is going to probably affect the horsepower numbers just a little bit. That being said, the rear end in the Camaro is a Ford 8.8, and the rear end that we were running in the station wagon was a Ford 9-inch. Ford 8.8s are known to be more efficient, so we have a little bit of horsepower loss from the torque converter, a little bit of horsepower gain from the rear end. I think we could pretty safely say that, you know, our results are going to be somewhat close. But I'll leave that up to you guys down in the comments. Leave a comment down below. Were these results what you expected? Do you think there's anything that we could have improved with our testing in order to make it more accurate? Overall, I'm pretty impressed by the Supercharger. It is definitely a lot more than we were able to get out of our LSA combination, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that down in the comments below as well. that fun? Huh? Wasn't that fun? Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I have the bypass valve coming open, so it's to control the boost in the supercharger. Oh, okay. So that it doesn't get too crazy. Alright, let me try giving you a little more. Little more boost. That was pretty weak. That was great. I had a lot of fun. Oh. We don't need too much more boost. That's right. Okay. Now before I play the next clip, I just want to make a quick comment about the car. I am still dialing in the supercharger bypass control on the Hellcat Supercharger, so the throttle is kind of hard to manage. It's kind of like trying to drive the car with a toggle switch. It's either 300 horsepower or it's 700 horsepower. And it's a very harsh transition between the two. It's really hard to pedal the car, so it's very easy for the car to get out of control. After I drove the car for the first time, my comment was, well, first gear, all the thing wants to find is the rev limiter. Second gear, all the thing wants to find is the ditch. And I said, we should probably relabel that shifter. Instead of first, second, and third, it should be rev limiter, ditch, telephone pole. And in this next clip, you're going to see my dad put it in ditch mode.
That's why we ended up.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you put it in ditch.
I figured you were probably still laughing. I was expecting it to go this way, and it went that way, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't, because that's how it normally goes.
Yeah, well, we probably got to rescale it. So with that, I'm going to end this video off here. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.